So I wanted to share a mod that I did about 5 years ago on my 2005 F-150 Lariat Super Crew. I modified the dome lights, map lights, and I wanted to film this in the evening, but it's raining today, and I wanted to be able to show off the lights so that you could see what I was talking about. So I powered the two map lights in the back from the dome light, and I'll show you in schematic form how to do that, and then I'll show you physically how to do that. That's a very simple modification, just to install a very simple jumper wire. So like I said out in the truck, this is a really simple but just a cool modification that you can do to the dome light circuit. I'm going to show you how simple. Now, these schematics might look complicated, but they're really very simple. And this is a very simple soldering job that you have to do this. And it's installing one jumper wire and running a couple wires down to under the dash. So this is the circuit I'm talking about right here. This is fuse 24, circuit number 24. It's a 15 amp fuse. It comes down through this battery saver relay, which is just a time delay relay that keeps dome lights on for a few minutes after you close the door, so that the dome lights don't go off immediately, so you got some illumination to find your keys or whatever. So this same circuit powers the vanity mirrors and the dome lights, and then the stoplight mounted cargo bed lamp, and if equipped, these exterior mirror lights. Now I've got a 2005 Lariat, like I said. It's a Super Crew, and this dome light circuit isn't drawn exactly right in this Chilton's manual. Now I bought this Chilton's manual just for these wiring diagrams that are in them, and this one doesn't work for my truck, so I've redrawn it. So it should look more like this. Now, this isn't exactly right either. I'll show you why in just a minute, but I wanted to redraw it so that you had an idea what I'm talking about. Now here's the interior map light assembly for the rear of the vehicle. What I have is I have a dome light and I have two map lights in the back because I have that Super Crew. Now I don't know if all the trucks have that, but I have 3 individual bulbs and I have 2 switches. And in the front I have 2 map lights. They're powered like dome lights through this circuit, and they each have their individual switch, so you can turn them on individually outside of the dome light circuit. Now let me explain why this isn't drawn exactly right. So to redraw this, this is what they should look like. So again, wiring's coming in. This is the rear dome light map light assembly. Like I said, 3 bulbs. The center dome light bulb is a 578 bulb. The outside map light bulbs are 921 bulbs. And the outside map lights each have a switch to turn them on individually, but they also have a switch that's like this. It's a double throw switch, so that it can be powered one of 2 ways. I'll show you what I mean. Here's the back of the dome light, or the dome map lights for the rear of the truck. Here's the sockets for the 2 map lights and the socket for the dome light. You can see the connection right here coming into the assembly. So here's the power connection coming into the dome light, the power connection coming into the right side map light, the power connection coming into the left side map light, and then going through the switch and then powering the bulb here on this side. Again, going through the switch, powering the bulb on this side. And then you've also got a ground coming in that grounds the dome light, grounds each of the map lights. So what we're going to simply do is install a jumper from this power circuit to this unused circuit. You can tell here it's unused, and you can see that in my drawing here. This is this unused circuit. So it seems like maybe the Ford engineers had intended to power those two map lights with the dome lights, but for some reason they decided not to, and then they didn't connect this particular circuit to anything. To make the modification to the rear dome map light assembly, all you need is a short piece of jumper wire, some way to strip the wire, some way to solder the wire onto the circuit, soldering iron or soldering gun, some rosin core solder, a damp sponge, and a piece of sandpaper. The rear map dome light assembly is extremely easy to remove. Just get your fingers in between the headliner and the assembly and pop it off. Now I'm going to keep the electrical connector here at the top, and you can see it's the same as my diagram that I was showing you on the bench. You simply place a jumper between this strip of copper and the positive on the dome light. So that jumper turns on the two map lights with the dome light. Extremely easy mod. So you want to minimize the amount of heat that you're putting onto these pieces of copper. So I recommend a light sanding with 200 grit sandpaper, and then use a little bit of rosin core flux and rosin core solder, and just solder that jumper on. Now these map lights simply come off with a quarter turn. Those are the 921 bulbs that are in that, and then they go on the same, simply back in, quarter turn, they're back in, and you can see the dome light then in the center. That just simply pops out to replace it. So to go back on, the map light has these metal brackets in the roof, and then it has corresponding plastic pieces on the dome light. So if you line those up, push it forward and then up, as long as you get that lined up, it just snaps back in. Simple mod.